soldier nearby.
Ooh! Ooh! Make sure we're unmuted on here. Hello, hello.
Working. Howdy, howdy.
Hey, Josh.
here.
What's up, Josh? How's it going, man?
Good, good. Living the dream. How about you?
Oh, excited for the new update today, sir. Excited.
Oh, we got lots. There's so much.
I know.
Awesome. So excited.
Yeah, so if you want to, I guess the best way to start this, so just so chat can get to know you a little bit, I guess if you want to introduce yourself really quickly and exactly what your role is.
Yeah, sure. I'm Josh Bridge, obviously. I'm the creative lead over what we call Chapter 3. So essentially, my edict is spearheading the creative of overall live operations right now for Call of Duty, right? So like the things that we do on the Warzone side or the Vanguard side. So I work with, Raven, Sledgehammer, all the studios, Beanox, High Moon, all the teams that are contributing to the live ops, and I help triangulate and get all the peeps rowing in the same direction together.
That sounds like a difficult job. So probably
sure is.
There's just so much stuff, so much content with Call of Duty now that you're trying to coordinate with the different studios and things like that. So it's like, I'm sure since Warzone has kind of taken off, it's been an exciting one, we'll call it, for you.
It's been a seismic shift in how we work actually as teams, I should say. Like historically, prior to Warzone, although we were like, stretching our wings in supporting the games more, way more beyond launch, with Warzone, it's really turned into we are show running 24/7 as a games as a service, and now the coordination between all the studio teams, which weren't necessarily siloed before, but had very specific, goals and focuses that were separate from other teams, we've had to kind of work together, right? Because we're all working on this beast together that can never have enough work. Like there's so much content and work that we keep applying to it. So that's why, me in this role is kind of a new conceit where there needs to be a core leadership team that helps triangulate, across the thousands of people that we have working on it. So.
Totally. And like from my experience, like I've been involved with like Call of Duty at the competitive level, casual level, whatever it may be, for like a long time now too. And I feel like that's definitely one of the biggest issues that I've seen personally. It's like, how can we get all the studios and all the new title releases to work together a little bit more? Because I feel like so many Call of Duty games in the past have had such great features, right? And like, how come we don't see them in other titles? I feel like with what you're kind of describing.
Yeah, that's totally shifting for sure.
It's amazing for me to hear just because I've been in this for so long, and it's like, oh, I love this in this game, and then I haven't seen it in 5 years type of thing. So like the fact that you're bringing up these points like kind of gets me excited already.
I think part of it is, if you think back to, years ago when you're, let's say, totally, when you're focused on more of the competitive side, each of the studios were kind of like incentivized to make, the best Call of Duty, right? Each one of them, right? And there was sort of an inter-competition, like, hey, we think we can do this better than you type thing, because there was a bit of rivalry.
Yeah, of course.
And then there was technology drifting, right? And so they would start, creating their own tech for their own thing. That I think has been great for how, Call of Duty has started and has been able to go this long, but it's completely been working against us for now as we see games as a service, right? That we need to be building upon and getting better and better, as opposed to like, hey, we're going to keep resetting and taking away things and having that 2 steps forward, 1 step back feels. So now all the teams are all coming out of the same core technology together. And so when features are implemented by a studio, they get put into we call core dev, which is like the core version of Call of Duty's engine and tools, and then the next teams can just take it and build on it.
Yeah.
So that's going to now mean now we're going to see like progression systems and features that just will keep evolving and getting better. Obviously, there's a balance, right? Because we don't want to fucking homogenize and just and make it feel completely derivative all the time. But that's going to give us a lot more wind in our sails. And I think that's where we've been seeing this whole sort of us teething and evolving as working as this super team now with Warzone. That I'm super excited where we've been going now with Chapter 3. We've been calling it this current season, but I'm super stoked for where we're about to go as well. So
it sounds amazing because I feel like each year it just kind of felt like, especially this is more like on the competitive side, I guess, not really talking about Warzone here, but like it felt like each time a new game came out, there there was like the first quarter just seemed like a lot of like bug fixing and stuff like that, and we didn't really see
Oh,
like,
yeah,
like a lot of
totally.
those features until a little bit later on in the year. And especially for competitive too, like they only have so long, like they have such little time to learn the game as it is. So the fact that
Yeah, yeah.
that I feel like everyone working just seems like they're gonna have a little bit more time and help like that.
Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah,
no
I
way
think-
we don't lead to like a better result for sure.
What we've been doing is, as we've been, working at this more super Call of Duty game experience together, we've been identifying features that are just franchise level.
Yeah.
So they're not about reinventing the wheel, and we have franchise feature teams that are separate from any Call of Duty that are just there to carry forward franchise level features, things like social, competitive feature sets,
Right.
rank play. Things that why would we keep reinventing the wheel? And because we organize differently now, where previously what you're experiencing is the team that is shipping the live game suddenly has to stop it, now run over to adding all the live features right after, so it was more serialized, which is not great for players. And there's no excuses, right? We're like, hey, how come it's not available day one? We're like, well, we had to make the game again. So now we have teams running in parallel to hit day, closer to day one, if not day one, with a lot of these things to just carry them forward. So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
All this
we'll get better.
Amazing.
Sure.
Yeah. I think the one thing I've noticed too, especially, chat, I know you guys love to, you harp on some of the problems that have been involved with Caldera and things like that. Like, I think the biggest thing for me, especially, is like the accountability and like what are the steps moving forward. So I think a lot of this stuff, like holding themselves accountable, like I think people higher up, like I realize that what needs to start taking steps in the right direction. So like this conversation as a whole, I think is like a big part of that too. And like just taking ownership of it. So like, especially moving forward towards season 2 and things like that, like I think one of the biggest things people are excited about is you guys showing a lot more love to like the massive, Rebirth player population with these updates for season 2 Reloaded and things like that. You personally, what are some of your favorite parts of what you guys have introduced through season 2 or even season 2 Reloaded, whether it be Rebirth or Caldera or whatever? What's your favorite?
Yeah, I think for us, sorry to cut you off, man, but the thing for us, when it kind of rolled back to, hey, us even going after a new map was kind of like in hindsight, was like we still had this feeling of like, oh man, we better do something completely new. And in the pursuit of doing that, we lost, some of the things that should have just worked and carried forward. You know what I mean? Again, it was like us kind of swinging too high, I'd say. And so what I'm most excited about and seeing here with season 2, and you're going to keep seeing it more and more, is like we're just doubling down on fix the fucking game.
Right.
Like all the quality of life features, stuff that all the niggly bits that it just keeps stacking. Not just bugs and whatnot, but just like, things that we've been getting feedback from you and others and other folks that are so core to the lifeblood of the game that we're just trying to hyper focus on that. Cut down on it's a new feature bonanza and not just keep, throwing new things in with other stuff still broken. Like focus on fix the fucking game, stabilize it, really listen to players and community and just keep going on that. So like look at things like like even like the gas mask animation, like just little things like that. Little things like that are really important. Or time to kill, like that one. We heard when we met with folks and around the concerns around how it was too quick time to kill. I'm like, fuck it, let's try it out. We try it out and do a bit of a community poll, get a sense of like, do we feel this is landing or not, and then whatever, we're gonna wash it right in and just make it the thing now if everyone's enjoying it. Yeah. And then the other part is, and you're starting to see it now in season 2, and you're going to see it more in upcoming season, is to cut down on mode salad, is what I've been calling it. Mm-hmm. It's like we just have too many modes that's just fracturing the community. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know where to play. Like this, kind
of overwhelming when you look at the list. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, it's like 5 playlists, and then a subset of those then go, singles, trios, quads, duos, and you're like, holy fuck, I don't know where to go. Right. So that's, it's going to be a bit sensitive as we fold Vanguard Royale into Core Royale, and try to take the best of both and make one thing. But I'd rather go through that teething to get it focused so that we have clearly, you want big map BR experience, here it is. Hey, you want fast time to action, fast time to kill, here's smaller map experience, right, with Rebirth.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think some of the updates we've seen on Rebirth, especially, players will definitely like. And those changes, like you said, on Caldera, I think the biggest hit we've definitely seen was like the console community too. People have been asking for like all those fixes and things like that. So like, chat, I don't know what you guys, but like what he's telling me right now, what Josh is saying is like they know what the priorities are to like fix the player base and gain that trust back in a sense. So things like TTK and these minor quality of life adjustments that we've been kind of waiting on for like a year or two. Like I feel like, especially in this past, let's call it like quarter or maybe like half a year, I feel like a lot of these things, like minor things like the parachute, minor things like the TTK balancing for some of the other weapons. I have a bone to pick with you about the Bren, but we'll talk about that conversation. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But like overall TTK and things like that.
I'm already feeling the Bren hate. Sorry.
Yeah, seriously, dude, that gun. But I feel like overall, you guys are taking steps in the right direction and it seems like the community feedback is in a different spot than it was like a year ago. So like that's what's exciting to me. Like the fact that you guys did a poll like that, just like pure, just like throwing it out there and making the community feel heard. I feel like that's kind of a problem that Call of Duty has had in the past. So like, I feel like the more players that hear you guys reaching out, like it just kind of gains that trust.
It may sound ridiculous. I mean, it's like there's been an aversion to it, I guess, historically. Just like, hey, if we ask for stuff, or people are just going to hate and just we're not going to get much out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just at this point, like, and that's why there's been a much bigger shift. And I think it's part of that culture of accepting that we are here in service to the players. We are, like if you go back in years, it'd be like, oh, we're the auteurs. And we've created a game we want you to experience and love, right? And it's actually sure, we want you to love the game, but we're here and curators ensuring that the experience is there for you to be a star and you to, have shareable moments and you to have fucking fun with your friends, right? Yeah. So that's that shift, which then says, well, we need to listen to and talk to the community. So like we are, proactively daily reviewing, sentiments, feedback. We have, stack ranking, priorities from community, top requests, top issues, and we're basically running as fast as we can to keep up with all the evolution. And it's a different way of working, right? It's less around let's make a great game and hope everyone loves it. It's more around just running a live 24/7 TV show that just keeps going and going. So
yeah, definitely a lot. I mean, we obviously kind of know new stuff is on the way down the pipeline somewhere. So I feel like a lot of these things, like I think Warzone came out and it just seemed like there was like so many issues that kept stacking upon each other. Then we had the integrations happen for Cold War and Vanguard. I guess my main question is like some of those bugs that kept, I guess, reoccurring. Like out of those, what were some of the most difficult things for the teams as a whole to try and tackle? Because like I don't really know how all that that code and things like that process, how long it takes to sift through, stacking a bunch of stuff on top of each other. Like I'm sure it's crazy.
I mean, when we launched Warzone, we were excited about it, but we didn't anticipate it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We did not anticipate, and it was fortuitous timing. We had this, lockdown happening with the pandemic. We just launched this, this free to play sort of, experience that we didn't think would actually go beyond the year maybe. And it just turned into like, holy shit, like this is gangbusters. Like, what do we do now? Like, what do we do next year and the year after? And so we've kind of been in this technical snafu corner where we're like, man, like the amount of content that we're adding each season, like the amount of weapons and operator skins and all this content, like we're running out of like performance capability and we're running out of disk space. Like it's because the fidelity of the content we author is pretty high res, so it just fills up your your PC, your hard drives. So the biggest issue has been technical performance, right, as we've been experiencing, right? And that's one of the reasons, even with Verdansk, like Verdansk was never authored with the idea that 180 weapons are going to be added to it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because that's roughly around how many we're going to land on by the end of this year in Warzone overall, which is crazy, right? When you think, and then maybe 2,000-3,000 blueprints total for those weapons, and that's not all the other stuff. So Verdansk was never authored with that memory space in mind. Yeah. So we tried everything we could around cloud-based asynchronous loading and streaming and all this stuff that we've been trying to do to kind of mitigate it. And what we did is we were running into a problem. We're like, well, not only do we want a new map, but we need to develop a new map that's actually more performant, that has memory and space. So Caldera has been actually authored with that in mind. So it has a lot more headroom, but we still have this legacy challenge of we're carrying so many systems.
Yeah.
and that's where I think part of it has been just focusing on either reduction, keep it simple, and just focus on the bugs, and all the quality of life, because we have to be really selective about what we add new, just because not only, for whether it's fun or not, but it's just, will it, break everything again?
Yeah.
Because it's bigger than we ever anticipated, I guess, from a complexity.
Yeah. It just feels, it's cool. I think the fact that we have such weapon variety is like kind of, for me, obviously I play way more than the regular population, but the fact that we have so many different guns and things to choose from makes it a lot of fun. But yeah, at a certain point, it's like, then it creates a conversation where we see like other games maybe like vault certain guns, or maybe do like a seasonal rotation type of thing, just because we have.
Yeah,
so
how would
many
you feel?
different
How would you
things.
feel about that? Actually,
See, like I don't know. The thing about like gaming communities as a whole is some people are just gonna love the new stuff and the variety, no matter what it is, and then some people want to use their Modern Warfare M4 and haven't changed their class in 3 years. I'm on the side where like I think seasonal changes in terms of the meta would not only make your guys' life easier in terms of weapon balancing, right? Because we can hyper focus on whatever guns are going to be involved for season, hypothetically, season 3, right? You focus on out of 180, let's take you take a third of it, right? A third of the guns, hyper focus on which guns you want to be in the top couple of spots, and you rotate those in and out. You have a couple snipers, LMGs, marksman rifles, SMGs, ARs, and then maybe even limit some of the equipment too. I feel like season-based loadouts might be something interesting. Chat, I love if you guys have any input on that too, but things like that just to keep the game fresh a bit more.
Yeah, we've been talking about that actually. It's interesting. You're kind of saying what we've been talking about, because I think there's literally, from a balance point of view, there's a virtual like unobtainium goal of balancing 180 weapons.
It's impossible.
It is, like, just practically speaking, it's impossible, right?
And
You'll either end up with like duplicate functionality,
right.
and all it is just a skin change, or you end up with like, well, there's only one at the top and everything else is junk.
There's only so many recoil patterns in this and that.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like eventually the guns are going to be very similar. So
I like that idea of having a focused seasonal sort of inventory, which promotes where what is in the meta for people to explore. Because I think there's also this other practical thing that's happening is the UI. Like when you go to pick, it's just like, holy shit.
It's
I don't even
lot.
know what to pick. It's like
this amount of guns with this amount of attachments. Like obviously I've been doing this a long time. I have a whole ass Excel spreadsheet for people to look at attachments and stuff. I just feel like for players that play a lot, they'll figure it out. They'll figure out like which attachments suit their style best. Yeah. But like I just imagine a player who plays maybe 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, and they just look at the menus and they're like, dude, what? It's just crazy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's making our brains melt.
Yeah, so I don't know. If you guys are talking about that, I'm personally a huge fan of that. And as far as like, there's always going to be a meta, right? So if you guys can like kind of select that and change that more often, I think one of my biggest issues that I've had personally with Warzone is just the stagnant metas for a long time. We go back to, I don't know, like way back when we have like the Bren. Or sorry, not the Bren, the Bruin, the Gra, like some of those metas that people really loved, we didn't have for that long, and then other metas that people didn't like as much. I'm talking about more from like my community and stuff like that. So maybe that's different as like for the entire player population. But like that constant rotation, I feel like it would just bring a lot of people back, because if a certain amount of weapons get vaulted, it'll just create like a super fresh experience, and people would come back to try it out. Maybe that meta doesn't suit them very well. Maybe they don't want to spend time to level a particular gun or things like that. I just think like a seasonal rotation, and then along with like, obviously the company needs to make money too, like blueprints, things like that. I feel like it almost would generate more sales for those seasonal guns potentially too, right?
Yeah,
make some fire blueprints for some of these guns that we have already. You guys don't have to completely redesign or design new things and then make just way cooler shit every quarter. I don't know. I think that
like
makes
the
a lot
idea.
of sense.
I like the idea of, I know that everyone, core players are discovering the meta, but I do like the idea of gamifying it where we literally are transparently advertising here is the inventory meta.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like we just put a circle around all the stuff to care about.
Like these guns should be good. Try them.
Yeah.
Like
and I would love to actually, let's say we have a few that we're hemming and hawing over. We just poll the community for which one you want in.
Yeah.
Or which one you want out, and just make
people would love that. Like vote on some of the most, fan favorite weapons in Warzone history. Like vote, you want the Graw back or you want this gun back? And like, that'd be sick.
Totally. Yeah, because I like the idea of reprising, right? Like it's not just about new, but it's also bringing back, and then sure you throw some new blueprints at the reprise weapon everyone wants. So
right,
yeah,
it's like
totally thinking the same thing. It's
a fun way to recycle content too, and people wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah, when we look to the future, I mean, we're always going to be, trying to add, more content, but we definitely need to manage the meta in a more transparent, clear way. Just even from like a practical, like fucking UI, like a user interface way, even potentially from a memory footprint way, where we, like, do we have all the, non-active weapons on disk or not? Just because it's part of it is a performance issue too. So
totally. And then just speaking about weapons. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, performance, and that's the other part of it with this beast that we've created is like being on last gen and next gen. It's so difficult to, we always have the lowest common denominator challenge with this game always.
Yeah, you have
right?
to.
And
that's such a massive part of the community.
Yeah, it's huge. Like last gen players, I mean, there just hasn't been enough next gen consoles available, and the sell through isn't there yet. And so our majority of our players are still last gen.
Yeah, totally. As far as like weapons and balancing and all that type of stuff go, we obviously seen in this season update, we like in the patch notes chat. If you guys haven't paid attention to these patch notes, we have them up right here. If you guys want to read through them really quickly, basically Vanguard Royale was like a sort of a tester mode at that 50 higher health, that 150 base health, and they've decided to apply it to combine the modes basically for an overall battle royale experience. Upping that TTK, bringing it up to 150 core health are. Like, what's the thought process there as far as, do you guys think it's like a happy medium between the 100 health and like what Iron Trials was? Because I feel like Iron Trials was probably a bit too difficult for a lot of players. And then is the goal to try and keep increasing it more or keep it here, or kind of what's the thought process there?
So I think with TTK, I mean, we were hesitant to even touch it because it's kind of like the butterfly wings, because the TTK we're inheriting from the core MP games, right? Generally, right? Obviously, we have to tune the weapons for how they affect range, because the ranges are way different, and you end up with bullet drop needs to happen and all that in Warzone. So there is some variance that we have to do there, but generally absorbing the TTK and the feel of the core loop of Call of Duty. The concern that we've always had is that if you the more you increase the TTK, the concern is you're raising the skill ceiling, right? Yeah. For the crappier players just can't take out better players, right? Because it's too much health to chip away. And that's where, like, even the high, like the fast TTK kind of gives the hope of a low skill player may get a random, spray of.
It's Call of Duty, man. Like, this is like one of the most accessible games on the planet for a reason. Yeah.
Totally. But as we talked about it, I mean, just the experience in a longer play session, more open survival sort of experience, that fast time to kill does feel like shockingly like you're put to sleep out of nowhere, which can feel really frustrating. So the Iron Trials was the first sort of, let's try it in a mode and see what people like, to kind of see how that's behaving and how players are experiencing that. And so that kind of helped inform us that, we feel like the 50 health is the sweet spot.
Okay.
For that increase for Warzone, although that deviates from core MP games.
Right.
And so that's why we tried it out in VG Royale. Watched, we did the community poll, but we also watched, we have analytics, and we just see how, how long people are playing and if they're fucking rage quitting or not. And it looked like it, that we weren't kind of alienating lower skill players versus high. So that's why we made the move post the poll. It's like, let's move it in and let's do it.
I don't know if you can, but can you speak on maybe some of the analytics of Iron Trials? This is for my personal curiosity. Do you think that lower players didn't like Iron Trials? If you can answer that, I don't know if you can or not, but
I would say generally Iron Trials attracts the players that probably have the highest hour counts in the game.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean? Like it kind of feels like a bit more of like an end game, elder game mode
Right.
for way more
Up the
experienced players to
difficulty,
go in.
for sure.
Yeah, I think it's looking way more intimidating for folks that just rolled in. They're like, I don't want to hop into. It's also called Iron Trials.
Yeah,
It's like
a little bit intimidating for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where we're seeing it. It's cool for and we'll do it again, and we have other variants of it coming because we see like absolutely want to cater to all the cohorts of players as much as we can. But yeah, it's not something that's welcoming, I would say, for new players or less engaged players.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it's a good way, like, because I kind of go back and forth on this point too. Like, do you try and up the skill gap of the core mode and stop trying to segment the community, or do you add, you sprinkle in a playlist like that for sweaty players like me to, have their fun?
That's what
it's difficult.
That's kind of that's the challenge. And that's where we cannot wait to get to ranked play, because that's ultimately what we need, right? To make sure that high skill players have an end game, elder game to really fucking flex, and that we have a masses, hey, go have fun, whether it's sharks or minnows skill level. That's the lifeblood of a BR or a type of game.
So the goal is to eventually get to a ranked mode.
Yeah. We just want to make sure we do it right. We don't take it lightly. So we're evaluating it. We're gonna don't have any updates on exactly when yet because I don't want to bullshit or lie. But we are absolutely taking it seriously.
Nice.
Like it's
that's
something
exciting.
that we need for sure.
Yeah. So that's where I feel like our specialty will come into play. I know us streamers are like pretty annoying to deal with for sure. Like, and our feedback's gonna be probably all over the place, but yeah, I think there's very easy ways to like learn from other games because I think some BR games do that kind of well, and then some things they could be improved too. So I think that's something that Call of Duty has always been kind of missing. How do you keep the extremely hardcore players interested while also appealing to the masses? Because COD like has a massive player base. Like everybody plays COD on a casual level, right? Or at least has at some point, usually in their gaming career. So like I think there's a huge opportunity to. It excites me that you guys are taking the necessary time to figure it out the right way.
Yeah, we recognize it for sure. I mean, pro playing isn't how we address it, right? CDL needs to be, its thing. But just, exactly. For folks like yourself, there absolutely needs to be that more rank play pub experience.
Right.
So
super exciting. And then I guess, we've been talking for a while. I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but
that's all good, man. Appreciate it.
I guess with all this stuff in mind, with all the different points we've talked about and kind of what the direction of Warzone is heading, just on a personal note for you, or if you want to speak for your teams in general, like how excited are you for the future of Warzone? I mean, obviously, I'm sure we have potentially like new games on the pipeline, all that type of stuff. Out of all the stuff we've learned from these first couple of years of Warzone with Verdansk, the Verdansk 84, Caldera, how excited are you personally if you're just speaking as like a Call of Duty player?
Oh, super stoked, because I think what we've discovered is like there's this large player count, large map experience, with free access for players to get into that is something that complements the premium offering, because the premium offering generally kind of dig in to get a cool campaign, your fast TTK, core MP, some cool PvE experience, but this is the more hop in and experiment sandbox sort of part of Call of Duty that we've grown. And I think looking to the future, Battle Royale is awesome. We love it. But, I just like the idea of exploring. I think all of us love the idea of exploring. What else can we do with like a large player count with a huge map? Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I mean? Like what other sort of evolutions can we find there? So I think that's been pretty exciting for all the teams, because also the other part of it is because it's free to play, we can try things out, like, hey, let's try this mode. Maybe it's fun for everyone or not. So it's a real cool test flight opportunity for us. If something really sticks, we can build on it and maybe becomes its own thing and spins off. Yeah. Right. So I think that's what's been really cool, incentivizing all the teams to come up with like, what else can we do in this, free to play lane, we call it. For sure. So yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And then I guess we kind of we talked about like maybe, the potential of bringing back like certain metas throughout, certain seasons for certain guns to limit that content a little bit more. I mean, overall thoughts on like
a map rotation. Some people, some people love Verdansk, some people love Caldera. I just want to see what your thoughts would be on that.
Yeah, so we want that.
Yeah,
we all want that. So there's a technical problem. The install and reinstall sizes is fucking crazy.
It's probably insane.
Right? So it's insane, right? Like, if we pulled out, Caldera and said, okay, we're going to drop in Verdansk. I mean, this could be like essentially re-downloading. Like I
know a lot of people complain about that.
Yeah. And every time we've done that, right, we lose players because it's just like really, you're kind of like, I don't want to re-download this, uninstall.
These
I can't
poor guys on a PS4 are like, dude, what do I do?
Yeah, like a base. I think you can't fit anything else besides Warzone and modern on a base PS4.
You're so limited.
Now, so that's where we have been putting a lot, like looking to the future, putting a lot more effort into how do we sort that out on a technical level so that we can have that rotation. We'll have some. We've been really looking at it, so we'll have more to talk about that. But that is ultimately a goal: is ensure that there's a freshness and a variety of experiences. Right, like you're saying, seasonal meta comes with that, a seasonal map rotation too. Right?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And I guess we're right about at the 30-minute mark. Mind if I take like one question from chat, and then I'll let you get out of here?
Yeah, sure.
Chat, this is your time to shine, baby. I know you guys have been kind of hanging out. You guys have been giving thoughts throughout. If you guys have any hard-hitting questions for our man Josh here before he takes off for the day. You guys, they're just spamming out the Bren, dude. Josh, I don't know if they even deserve a question answered at this point.
Come on.
The Bren.
What's wrong with the Bren? It's fine.
No, it's not. Whoa, hold on. It's not fine. Who on the dev team has a high Bren KD? There's got to be someone loves it.
Come on.
Who is it?
Bren lover. We got to find that person. There's a Bren lover.
The guy has like a
house.
5 KD with the thing. Apparently, we got to give it some recoil or something.
We are tackling it. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just like the soup that we deal with of like all the weapons, the complexity of going through all the balancing of it, and we hear everyone loud and clear on it. So it definitely is on our radar.
Gotcha. Very cool.
And unfortunately, I know it seems ridiculous and frustrating sometimes that we can't just shoot out, here's a quick fix. But like I mentioned, the process of submitting changes, testing it, going through, making sure we didn't break something else.
I'm sure you have your own analytics of the player base as well, right?
Yeah. So. The only bit I just want to mention, just to reinforce our focus. I mean, we're absolutely committed to making this the best experience that we possibly can, and we're only able to do that with hearing everyone's feedback. And we take it serious, right? Like last year, in 2021, with a team's focus on quality of life features, we did 31 quality of life features, and our goal has been to double that for this year.
Yeah.
But already we're at 64.
Okay.
So we're going to double the double. We're going to quadruple. So that's just our commitment to making sure that we make the best experience that reflects everyone's sort of feedback.
That's exciting. And then last point before we let you get out of here. I feel like I keep saying that. Sorry, sir. What are your thoughts on how Ricochet anti-cheat has been performing so far? My personal experience is Caldera compared to Verdansk it's a completely different landscape for me. But I guess I wanted to hear from your POV of how happy are you with its performance so far? Is it going to keep improving? I don't know what info you have on that so far, what you can even share with us, but just overall thoughts on Ricochet.
I think overall we're absolutely happy with it. I mean, one, having a team, an actual team dedicated to this has been the biggest shift, right? That we started last year into this. So that is absolutely awesome, because historically it was just like the dev teams hearing about a cheat and trying to scramble and trying to like plug holes, right?
Yeah, right.
So now having a team dedicated, always there with technology, software, monitoring, and trying to go after it as fast as we can. And it keeps getting better, right? Because we find new ways that cheaters are, finding a different sort of loophole or a hack, and we plug it up and we go out, we move forward, right? So I think, I wish we can't be fully transparent on it, because we're also trying to, protect the players without actually disclosing what we're doing. And it's not to be nefarious, it's to literally protect fair play.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to keep growing and get better and better. So
awesome.
I'm excited about it.
Amazing, man. Well, Josh, thank you so much for letting me chat with you and ask you some questions, dude. I mean, chat, I'm just going to speak for all of us when I say this has been one of the most like refreshing conversations I've had from someone in your position. And the fact that you guys are just like really owning a lot of this stuff, it excites me for someone that's like been deeply involved with this franchise for such a long time. So thank you so much for, the accountability, being blunt about a lot of things. Like it's actually amazing. So thank you and appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, and thank you all, and thank you. We love hearing, and we are absolutely dedicated to it, and love to keep this ongoing, and not just a one-time snapshot.
Yeah, for sure.
chatting.
I mean, yeah,
So
I'm all about this type of stuff. I find it super interesting to figure out the process, the thought process for everything, how everything works. So yeah, if we ever want to do this again, just count me in.
Yeah, sounds great, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, man. Have a great day. All right.
Laters.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah. W. That was amazing. For me, that was amazing. I've been doing this for a long time, right? Like, that was actually amazing. I've talked to devs before, right? And I usually get a lot of wishy-washy. So the fact that this guy hops on a call and he's being very blunt about things. That's very nice for me to hear, because I've been in this a long time. I've been in this a long time compared to a lot of people. I feel like, we could have sat there and talked about things and how to optimize and ideas for 2 hours straight, right? But for a 30-minute conversation, there's a lot of things that felt genuine to me. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.